Hey all, just to check in, try to make a short video for this week just to kind of emphasize a few things. I am opening up a couple of sections ahead of time, and I don't always get to respond to some of the things on my mind, in these check-in videos that are timely. But I would just say, since I've taught this class many times, there's a few people falling behind. That's like a move in a negative way on your net wealth statement now that you've maybe filled that out or have a understanding of that. And you're going to have to work your way back up if you want a higher grade, that is. So, again, just to emphasize, just to be fair to everybody else, forums and quizzes must be completed in the week they are assigned. And then the assignments, I do give you an extra grace period of a week, 7 days, that you can turn those in, okay? I will, you don't get full points for them, but it's better than just going without. And sometimes, I understand, life gets ahead of you, and you have to make those kind of choices. And it's just like missing opportunities in the business world. It's just like missing that stock that just shot up 50%, and you didn't buy it, and somebody told you should have bought it, and those kinds of things. Those are some regular things. If it is a pattern of yours, then it's something that might have to be changed. It will have to be changed, because employees that are irresponsible in that matter, things don't work out well for you. And if you're going into small business, if you want to run your own farm, ranch, or small business, then it obviously is not the way to run one, and it will end up in collapse and possibly bankruptcy. And that's the perspective that I'm running this course through, is with those things in mind. Okay, so this week we're on to the Foundations course. The second portion of it is the budgeting. We're going to cover this in 2 weeks, but I'd like you to look at those videos, go all the way through. And one of the things that I would, obviously, some of you already have a lot of experience in this, and I'm not selling yourself short, but even though I've been involved with, teaching this course and teaching with this material for many years, I always pick up some things, and it just solidifies some things, foundational things. You start getting lazy in some areas of your financial life, and it just kind of makes me come back to my roots again, so to speak. So, a good thing to do is get the family involved and watching those videos. You have friends and family that you can share it with. You might be helping them. And, most people don't really enjoy somebody saying, you need a budget. Well, not having a budget is actually a budget too, but it's just a very unorganized way to actually have your finances. One thing I want you to consider, and I don't remember if I mentioned that in any of the videos that will follow this, but in your budgeting, and this comes from Proverbs itself, is the fact that where your treasure is where your heart is. So there's a symmetry to all this. And one of the things, it doesn't tell you in the Bible how to actually manage your finances. It just says that it's important. It's important how you live your life. And, whether or not you're a believer or not, these are just really good, solid things to fall back on. Many people say, well, I'd like to give more to the church, and in my world, that's what I come up against. That's what my personal feelings are. Maybe it's a special charity, but at the end of the month, there's nothing left over. And what I really want you to consider on a budgetary, in the subject of budgeting, is actually just to turn that thing over. And if they really, like I said, where your treasure is where your heart is, okay? So if you don't have any left over to give those things you say are important to you, means that that's not in your heart. Okay, and that's might be pretty conflicting for many of you and a lot of people out there in the world. But if it is really, really an important thing, most likely, maybe not on a monthly basis to start with, but in some way or fashion, you fight your way to actually putting those things as budgetary items. And I would say is to flip that budget so that, first of all, we just talked about savings last week. Okay? Well, many people say, well, I don't have anything left over at the end of the month. Well, allocating a very small percentage at the beginning of the month, putting it aside, like we discussed in Profit First, in your personal life, will force you not to spend so that you have some left over at the end of the month that's in savings. So a tithe is actually giving of your best and first. That's what it means actually in the Hebrew. So what I'm trying to say is tithe first. Those things that are really important to you is what you get done first. Now, you might have to do it in baby steps. And we talk about profits. Hey, listen, if there's never any profits, then how about 1%? 1% of every $100 is $1. Okay, are you really going to be that more worse off if you're in a bad situation if you set aside $1? And the thing of it is, this thing has the snowball effect. You go like this. Okay, 1%. Last month I put 1% ahead before I spent anything. I spent a dime. And it didn't affect me. What if I were to increase that by a multiple of 100%? That's 2%. Okay? Is 2% going to hurt you? Probably not. Try it. You might like it. At the end of that month, you go, maybe you increase it by 50%. Maybe you increase it by another 100%. It's 4% in your personal financial life for savings. So now it's still not a huge number, 4% of the total income that comes in. And maybe that doesn't make you uncomfortable financially, so that you can start increasing it in baby steps. I mean, this is how we did it. It's an effective way. It's one method. It's a method that works for the most people, I would say. Doesn't mean you have to do it this way. Most people start thinking, I'm going to save 20%. And then they go at the end of the month, they go, well, I got to dig into my savings in order to pay the bills at the end of the month. Okay, well, that means you're spending more or living beyond your means. So you got to rebudget. Okay, why not start out with something that you can live with and see if it really does, in fact, make you uncomfortable. So anyway, those are just some tidbits that I've picked up in 60 plus years of living. And not that I know everything, but I hope that helps you a little bit, give you a little perspective. And, some other categories you do the same thing with is charity and tithing and things like that. It's like start small. And if it makes you uncomfortable at the end of the month, it's really tight, then you can always change it. But then you rebudget. It's just that easy. Budgeting is very, very simple. We're going to start with your personal budget first, before you can understand the fact that it is essential in small business in order to budget. Okay, so not to beat a dead horse, but if you have any questions, I'm available on a Zoom conference if you'd like. Want to make sure that you know about that. I am around quite a bit, so the best ways I found out lately that my cell phone is not working, actually downloading voice messages. So what I would say a better strategy if you are wanting to get a hold of me is to email me and text me. That would be a good strategy for you. So over and out. Good luck with your budgeting. Hope you enjoy the videos that the Foundations course includes.